What is Matthew Mercer Syndrome? To understand this phenomenon, we must first have to learn a little bit about who Matthew Mercer is. Mercer is an American voice actor, known for his roles in games, cartoons, and English dubs of various anime, such as Attack on Titan, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and Naruto. In tandem with his voice acting work, Mercer has been the Dungeon Master for Critical Role since 2015, and is the CCO for Critical Role Productions as well. Along with being a great dungeon master, Mercer is also surrounded by other professional voice actors while recording Critical Role. These factors create an incredibly entertaining show for audiences, and have no doubt drawn more people towards the hobby as a whole. One negative effect of this is that many new players, and especially new dungeon masters, come into the game expecting something that comes close to that level of polish. This is called Matthew Mercer Syndrome. The obvious problem is that the Critical Role cast has years of experience, and even though they make that level of immersion and quality seem effortless and not at all uncomfortable, your average players won't easily be able to recreate that level of proficiency or production. Of course, Dungeons & Dragons doesn't have to have all of Critical Role's bells and whistles to be an enjoyable experience for everybody. Many DMs, however, myself included, find themselves trying to fabricate a story of the same caliber. They assume that they should be good at doing and remembering different voices or accents for NPCs, or explaining every scene with Tolkien levels of language. The fact is, if you have these abilities, using them isn't going to hurt, but trying to force a skill you haven't honed in yet can. Sadly, some players also have the expectation that their DM will be able to effortlessly run an intricate adventure, but there's a simple solution that can help change these expectations for both the DM and the players. During your Session 0, a pre-session to establish any rules or limits and do some light group prep, you should just make it clear that you aren't a professional DM with a performing arts degree, and that you'll do the best you can. If you want, you could also ask your players for feedback after a session to assess what they enjoyed about your style and what they might change. I know that when I played for the first time, I was definitely a bit disappointed in the level of quality of the game, even though I did still have a good time. Now on to some specific ways you can modify your sky-high expectations and goals into something more realistic. If your players want to do voices or accents for their characters, absolutely encourage it, but that does not mean that you need to as a Dungeon Master. I think the big reason many D&D groups don't do voices is the embarrassment tied to trying something new. Working past this can make all the difference in improving, but this skill isn't necessary to have a good time. One thing I've seen being overlooked while researching Matthew Mercer Syndrome is how the group dynamic in professional productions is going to be completely different than your home game, at least just starting out. If you have a group of players who don't know each other very well, it can take some time for them to open up and be comfortable around one another. Even close groups of friends can struggle to find the right dynamic at first, and that should be something you expect with any new group. World building also has some unrealistic expectations that have been set by the popularization of professional D&D. Most groups like Critical Role take place in a setting masterfully crafted by the DM. This shouldn't be expected, even though world building can be really fun. Using already established settings can allow you to focus more on other things, and when you need to know something about the setting, usually the wiki will have your answer. Overall, though, I think the most important thing to remember is just to have fun. You're not meant to worry about being a perfect DM, you're just supposed to do your best and have a good time with your friends.